Hello everyone and welcome to the Kiki London YouTube channel. My name is Amanda and in today's video we're going to be doing a builder gel design using the Kiki London Easy Build Up Gels. So seeing as the weather is lovely and sunny, we definitely had to do a bit of a spring summer design. So I hope you all enjoy today's video. Now to start off with, I am going to be working on some display tips and I'm going to start off by using the Kiki London Rubber Base Coat in colour 01, which is this really milky soft white. Now if you was doing this set on yourself for a client, you would do all of your prep before coming in with your base coat, but because I'm working on display tips, I'm going to jump straight in to my thin layer of base coat. So applying that nice and thin, as you can see, it's a really soft milky white. If you want to build up the coverage to wear this more as a colour, then you could do 2 coats. I've just done the 1 coat on all of my display tips and cured them for 60 seconds. Then to build up our nails, I'm going to be using the Kiki London Easy Build Up Gel in Snow Glaze. So we're working on this now like we would as if we was working on doing an overlay. But of course, if you wanted to extend the nail, you would apply your tips or sculpt your extension and then build up the nail. But like I said, we're just working on it like it's a builder gel overlay. So I've applied a thin layer of the Snow Glaze. This is my wet slip layer. So whilst that layer is still wet, I'm going to come in with a bigger ball of gel and build up the nail. I personally like to do the slip layer because I find with the slip layer you can get a nice neat cuticle and sidewall application, so then you haven't got to stress too much about getting a neat cuticle line with your builder gel layer, because your builder gel layer is just going to flow and follow where you've popped down that wet slip layer. So just be really careful when you're applying your slip layer that you don't get any on the skin or cuticles, because your builder gel layer will follow that. Then as you can see with our builder gel layer, it is very effortlessly and easily been able to just walk down the nail. Now I'm not going to build this up any further than this because we are going to be doing some nail art and encapsulating. So I've done that again, all the same on all 5 nails. So we've got a sort of medium, thin to medium thickness of builder gel down. If you was just doing a full builder gel nail, you would maybe need to come in due to the length of these nails and build up that thickness a little bit more. But because I knew I was going to be doing some nail art and encapsulating, I'm going to still be adding a clear layer of builder gel further along. So for our nail art, I want to add some glitter onto these nails. So I've taken my Kiki London rubber base coat. You could use the rubber base coat or the regular base coat. Any clear gel will work for this step. We're simply using this base coat to apply our glitter. So I've then dropped the glitter into my base coat and I'm just going to give it a stir. I have 2 Kiki London cuticle pushers, one that I use for doing my cuticles and one I use for my glitter, because I love how easy they are for scooping out your glitter and giving it a good mix in your gel. So I'm only going to be applying the glitter to the middle 3 nails that we have here. So taking my Kiki London round nail art brush, I'm just going to gently kind of roll that glitter and gel mixture on to the nails. So as you can see, I'm picking up a small amount on my brush and working it around that cuticle area and then just fading it down ever so slightly, just so there's not a harsh line where it ends. I don't want to take the glitter too far down into the center, as further along we're going to be applying some water decals in the center of the nail. So I want to kind of just frame the nails. And you don't want to build up too much thickness with this, because one, we're working around that cuticle area, so you don't want to end up with a bulky cuticle area, and 2, you want to be able to encapsulate your glitter nice and easily. So you just need to be really careful how you're working with the glitter. As you can see, I'm using really light feathery strokes with my brush, so I'm able to move those pieces around and not have too many overlapping or giving off too much of a chunky appearance. Then once we've done that around all of the cuticle areas, I'm going to do exactly the same around the tip of the nails. Again, keeping it fairly thin, because you don't, just like you don't want a bulky thick cuticle area, you also don't want bulky and thick tips either. So where we do have to come in and put a layer of clear encapsulation gel down, we want to make sure we're keeping our glitter quite thin. This is a multi-cut glitter mix, and I find these easiest for encapsulating in gel because you've got the finer glitters there for the coverage and then the chunkier glitters for the colour. So it makes it easier to get a thin layer of glitter down, if that makes sense. Whereas if you've got a too chunky mix, you end up with quite a bit of thickness. So again, doing the same as before, really light strokes with my brush and just kind of fading it down the side slightly so it frames that centre part of the nail and looks nice and soft and appealing to the eye. Picking up any additional bits and tapping them on if I want a little bit more coverage. I really loved how this mint greeny blue looked against that white background. So now that the glitter is placed, I'm going to cure it to make sure that it doesn't move around. So we're popping that in for a 60-second cure. And then for my decals, I'm going to be using the new Motivational Mix Water Decals. I'm really loving these. I'm loving the positive vibes. I feel like it goes with the sunny weather. So I've picked out 3 images that I want to use and I've cut them out as close to the lettering as possible. You want to get rid of as much of that white excess as you can because that's going to be the clear sheet when it comes to placing your water decal down. And the less of that you have, the better. It just makes applying them a lot better because you've not got this excess clear line to try and smooth out and get creases out of and all of that. So once I will talk you through on the next decal. We're going to be applying the decals on all 3 now, so I'll talk you through my steps. But I loved how cute it looked framed in that glitter. We are going to add some floral foils over the top as well, so it all comes together as the design goes on. So for applying my water decals, I'm going to pop my image down onto my jelly stamper, moisten the back of it using some room temperature water, and I like to use my angled nail art brush. Then that backing paper, once it's soaked for around 10-20 seconds, it slides off the image effortlessly, and then you're able to press your water decal down. Because the builder gels leave quite a tacky layer, it pulls that decal nicely into place. And then I just take a few seconds just smoothing out any creases, making sure it's lying as flat as I can get it. And then we're ready to move on to the next one. So I'm just going to repeat those steps again. Now I find the Kiki London water decals are really easy to work with, but if you are struggling or need any help, pop me a comment below and I will be happy to help you any way I can. I do also especially find these really easy to work with when you are working with builder gel because you're able to encapsulate them in with all of your nail art, so they're fully encapsulated in your builder gel, so you get a really super smooth finish. So you haven't got to stress too much of if you do get any little creases, because where the builder gel is a little bit thicker, you're not going to feel any of those creases on the surface of the nail. But I do still like to try and get as many out as possible. So now we're going to encapsulate these nails. So I'm using the Kiki London Easy Build Up Gel in a crystal clear. And I'm going to start off the same as when we were doing our snow glaze layer. I'm going to come in with my wet slip layer. So one, I'm going to do this for the same reasons as before, but also when you're working with a chunky glitter, that slip layer, you can really brush it around the particles of glitter and it's going to help you get a super smooth encapsulation without any gaps or air bubbles. So once we've got that thin encapsulation layer down, I'm leaving that wet and then I'm coming in with my larger ball of gel. And as you can see, I wanted to make sure that this was fully encapsulating the nail, so I'm not stressing about taking this first ball of gel all the way down to the tip of the nail. If it starts running out, I can just pick up a little bit more gel. It's going to self-level into that previous bead of gel effortlessly, and then you're able to finish off encapsulating that tip. You want to make sure that you're building up all your strength and structure in this encapsulation layer, as well as encapsulating all of the nail art that you've placed down. If your nail is looking a little bit uneven, like mine was here, just hold it up for a few seconds to speed up that self-leveling process before popping it into cure. And then you can look here, you can see it's smoothed out pretty well to say how bumpy and uneven our glitter was. So now that they are cured, we're going to come in and wipe off that tacky inhibition layer that the builder gel leaves. Now the Kiki London builder gels, they do leave quite a tacky inhibition layer. So you do need to make sure that you give this a good wipe off before you come in and do your filing. If you weren't filing or buffing, you were going straight to top coating, then you don't need to wipe off that inhibition layer. I mainly find that I do need to do a little bit of filing when I've done encapsulating, because your glitter or whatever nail art you've popped underneath the clear layer is usually a little bit uneven. So I do just like to come in and refine the nails a little bit to get a nice super smooth finish. So I'm just using my 180 grit side of my Kiki London file to do this, because the builder gel files really easily. Unless I was doing a removal, I don't tend to use the 100 grit side of my file, because it will just file into your glitters. It will file the builder gel down too quickly basically. So just using that 180 grit side of the file, I'm just going to refine the surface of the nail, get it all nice and smooth, and then bring back that nice crisp shape. And then once I have finished filing, I'm going to come in with the 180 grit side of my buffer just to help really smooth that nail out. It's going to get out any scratches that your file has popped into the surface of the nail and just leave you with a lot smoother finish. Then once again, we're going to give it a really good clean with another alcohol pad to make sure we've removed all of that dust before top coating. Now this design was inspired by another nail tech. I see a similar-ish design that she did on Instagram, which gave me the idea for this design. So I will try and find her post or her Instagram name and leave it in the description box below. My set did end up quite a bit different to hers, but that was where my inspiration come from. So she had these really pretty florals around her lettering that she'd done in the center of her nails. So I decided I would use some of the Kiki London foils to add in some florals and just to add a little bit more definition. I love layered nail art, so especially when I'm doing builder gel designs, I love having some nail art underneath your encapsulation layer and then some nail art on top. So I'm going to come in and apply my Kiki London foil gel to all of the nails, and then I'm going to pop this in to cure for 30 seconds. Now, if you are using a UV lamp, or if you're not using a Kiki London lamp, you may need to extend that cure time. So you might have to have a little play around to find what works for the lamp you are using. But we do recommend using the Kiki London lamp with your Kiki London gel products. So once that foil gel has cured, I've cut out some of the floral foils. Now this is a little bit tricky because you're just applying individual images rather than a full foil. So what I'm doing is I'm placing down my image that I've chosen, and then I'm just giving it a really good rub with my silicone tool, and then I'm going to start peeling back that foil paper. Now as you can see, we've got a big patch in the middle of foil that we didn't want on the nail, but we can simply remove that with some alcohol. Because it's not been top coated and sealed in, you are able to just wipe it off, and you're not going to disturb that water decal underneath because we've got that clear encapsulation layer down. So if you have sealed in your nail art that's underneath, don't stress too much if when it comes to applying your foils, if you get any image where you don't want it to be, a little bit of alcohol will remove it. So we're going to do very similar on all three of these nails. I've just selected a couple of florals from each of the floral foils. I used a couple of different ones, I think, in this mix. So I kind of just was picking out certain florals that I wanted to use. I love the floral foils. I think they have to be my favorite for the summer, especially out of the Kiki London foils. They're definitely the ones I seem to reach for the most. So I'm giving this a good rub. It does transfer off really easily. It's just a little bit tricky to work on the display tips. And I loved how you've still got that glitter underneath and you've just got the flowers over the top, and it adds lots of dimension and looks really cutesy, I feel. These were definitely a bit more on the spring side, but I thought they were just a really pretty set of nails. So I hope you have all enjoyed the design. So I always like to give my foils a really good rub and then slowly peel back that clear sheet foil. This way, if your image hasn't fully transferred, you're able to lay it back down where it needs to be and give it another rub. If you pull the foil completely off, then it's really hard to line it back up where you need it to be. So I just slowly peel back to gauge how it's transferring before fully pulling it off. So that was all of our foils applied to those three nails. I thought they looked really cute. Now on the pointer and little finger, I wanted to keep those nails quite simple because we've got all of the nail art and attention drawn to the pointer, middle and ring finger. So on to the thumb and little finger, we have pretty much built up the nail already using the Kiki London Build Gel. We used that at the beginning with the Snow Glaze. Now I felt as though the application, because it was just a simple gel polish application, a simple builder gel application, no encapsulation or anything like that, the application was quite smooth, so I decided not to do any filing or buffing on these two nails. I probably realistically should have still just crisped up the shape a little bit, but I felt as though I was quite happy with my application. So I come straight in with my gel polish. So I'm using the beautiful Fiji Water. Now on screen, this does look a little bit more blue and bright than it does in real life. In real life, it's got a little slightly more green tint to it, but for some reason the camera likes to pick it up a little bit more blue. But it's one of my absolute favorite Kiki London colors. It's absolutely gorgeous. So I've applied 2 coats of this, curing each coat for 30 seconds. It's definitely one of my go-to spring summer colors. I love this one, and I felt as though it really tied in nicely with the florals and the colors in those florals on the middle nails. And now that we have finished all of our design, we are ready to come in and top coat. So I really wanted to include the new No Wipe glitter top coat. This is the 24K Flake Top Coat. I absolutely love this. I have it on my nails at the moment and it is absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to be using that over the Fiji Water nails. And on the 3 nails with our heavy nail art, I wanted to keep them with just a plain top coat. So I'm going to come in with the No Wipe top coat on those 3 nails. So I just thought I would do the 24K Flake ones first. And I love how this gold looks over the Fiji Water. It just looks really beautiful, and it really gives off that spring summer vibe. I think these 2 nails on the end have more of a summer vibe, and the 3 nails in the middle have a bit more of a spring vibe, but it kind of all worked once they were put together. So once we have finished applying that top coat, we're going to pop these in to cure for a full 60 seconds. And then that, guys, is the design finished. Once I have finished curing them, I will leave a little clip of what the finished result looked like, as well as a picture. I really hope you all enjoyed today's video. As always, if you have any requests or anything you would like to see, please do pop it in the comments below. And also give the video a thumbs up or leave us a comment below, as it does really help the channel. And I also just wanted to say a quick thank you to all of our regular watchers and all of our lovely subscribers. Thank you for being a part of the Kiki London YouTube channel. I shall see you all again in next Friday's video. I hope you all have a lovely weekend and get to enjoy the beautiful sunshine if you have it wherever you are. Once again, thank you all so much for watching. Lots of love. Take care. Bye bye.